My second question. The second question is about our long-term loan. So London Borough of Croydon has a long-term loan of 1.4 billion for a number of years. A few years ago, the long-term loan was 500 million, I was told. Then a few years after that, it went to 1 billion. Then 4 years ago, the loan was stood at 1.4 billion. And the loan hasn't moved for the last 4 years. I don't know the interest rate. I think I know the interest rate. The interest rate is about 60 million a year, something like that, roughly. 70 odd. So in my calculation, about 7% anyway. 100 million. The question is, this sum is being wasted and not being used locally, right? How do you guys plan to sort out this 1.4 billion loan? If I start with this, since you've been, since you know more about it.
I certainly know a lot about I mean, it is made up of loans, but it's a debt. That's the big thing. It's £1.4 billion of debt that we hold as a council in our general fund. And just a bit of history around that. In 2014, that debt was sitting at 700 million. 400 million of that was on the general fund, 300 million on the housing revenue account. That 300 million on the housing revenue account hasn't changed. That's run the same all the way through right to now. But that 400 million that was the debt in 2014, under the next 8 years of Labour Council, that went up to 1.4 billion. So that's where that debt has really escalated during that period of time, tripled on the general fund, and tripled in a way that could not be afforded. I mean, all local authorities, most local authorities carry an element of debt, rather like a mortgage. But what we've had in Croydon is we've had the mortgage, we've then used our credit cards, it's then gone on to payday loans, and we cannot afford to repay that. It is costing us 70 to 80 million pounds a year to service the debt. That's just not sustainable for this local authority or any local authority. And that's why I've been working for government about how we do that. Croydon cannot deal with this debt on its own. It needs government support to help support and pay off that debt. And that's what we're working to. We're working with government around demonstrating to government that we're being the most efficient that we possibly can as a council with our finances, that we're bearing down on costs and that we are doing everything that we can at a local level. But we still carry that 70 to 80 million pound of debt servicing. So that is when we need to show to government that we're in control of our finances, but we need that support to actually pay off some of that debt. And that is essentially where we are today. The debt has not gone up in the last 4 years. It was going up £15,000 an hour being borrowed over the previous 8 years of the Labour Council. Under my tenure, that debt has flatlined, come down very slightly. The debt has not gone up while I've been there. It's been stabilised at that 1.4 billion. It's too much, and we can't deal with it locally here. We need to show government that we're doing everything we can, and then we need to get that deal with government. And that's certainly what I've always pushed for, and I'll continue to push for.